How's it going, YouTube? So, I'm just now getting around to doing this overview of active matter. It's one of the newer extraction shooters that I've been playing over the course of the last 2 weeks. I think I have around, I would say, 40-ish hours or so in the game now. So I'm gonna do my best to kind of just go over everything that I've learned from the beginning to where I'm at now, and try to go as in-depth as possible, but not make the video super crazy long. So to start off, the first thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna go through a little tutorial.
Wow.
Crash ass body
a
sleeve.
real backwater of the multiverse.
He works well.
By
Press
the
the
way,
buttons.
I'm Ms. Second, voice
Fills
assistant.
my body
I'm
sleeve.
constantly told that I don't have to announce incoming mail, but it's my favorite part of the job. The agent you need to find is somewhere nearby. The agency's insurance program covers deaths. In the event of death, your body will be replicated in the shelter, and your consciousness will be fully recreated except for the traumatic memories of the destruction of your former biological shell.
I like how it says shift, hold, breath. But it, okay, there you go.
Research has shown that ignoring damage is a common cause of death and mission failures. Use first aid kits to treat wounds. The agency does not guarantee the preservation of scars during body replication. Oh, the look on your face. Shock, awe, a pinch of panic. Getting a new variant up to speed is always so exciting. They all needed a moment to process it all, even Caroline. And you're already doing better than her.
Sweet Caroline. Bum, bum, bum. I got my helmet on. Hello? What? What? It's not Sweet Caroline, you shoot me in the chest. It's not how that works. What the fuck? Hold on, let me actually paint this. Get used to the big boy stuff. You've seen this stuff I've never seen. We pour us on, get no head bob. Delta Force style. Alright, we got this. Press T to heal by ampule. Okay. We got the heal. We got a compass on there. Where's my life at? I didn't even get shot, so I don't know why I was healing, but... Or we can just run into it. Is that an actual person? What the fuck is that? That's a tree. Seeing shit. Oh boy. First aid kit. Gotta be careful with that holding breath. Oh shit, there's bodies and there's plants. Combat knife. What is this? Steel armor plate. Oh, so they have plates. Okay, interesting. What is this? The key card.
He made his choice. Good thing it wasn't you in his place. Refusal to cooperate with the agency and loss of the insurance bonus
From a
can have
BR
fatal
to this game,
consequences
let's
for the
see if
employee.
it pays off.
Please deliver the memory card to the extraction portal. The card is the key to access the electronic locks in this area. Use it to go further.
This was supposed to be a BR. Oh, that's right, gravity.
You have found a gravity anomaly. There are various types of anomalies in the zone. Most anomalies are dangerous, and approaching them will result in instant but agonizing death. However, anomalies such as this one can be useful for reaching hard-to-reach areas. Have fun.
Interesting. Oh, that's why, because it's set to bow. So this is like the free look. That's melee. So that's going to be conflicting. Okay, we need to change that. Controls. View. Just clear that for now. And then movement. Crouch, okay. Actually, what we can do is, since we change that, we can put that as fuck. Axis setup. You know what? Just leave it on. Yeah, because now I can crouch. I don't really need to do crazy looking anyway, right? See a guy running on a wall, kills guy like easy
is triggered by
fish.
approaching, shooting, or throwing a stone.
Gravity trap. There's a gravity trap.
Congratulations, you have found active matter. This is a valuable resource that must be extracted from the zone. After the raid, all active matter will be forcibly removed, and you will receive a statistically generous reward. Realities destabilize because of active matter. It's dangerous, but it is also the only material capable of repairing the multiverse.
The
The
multiverse.
agency strives to synthesize a resilient timeline, one that survives AM surges and resists collapse. I think we're almost there. This is the extraction portal. To return to your shelter, approach and activate it, then stay nearby. The technical service recommends to spend the wait casually.
You're gonna go through a little tutorial that's gonna explain some of the basics of the game. So you'll go through that. You'll also be selecting what's called a sleeve. So basically, sleeves are different characters that have different innate bonuses. So for instance, in the beginning, I think you'd be able to select Outlaw, J. I think those are the only two if you have the standard edition. And then eventually you'll be able to unlock most of these through just playing the game, but some of them are based off of the edition that you purchased. There are three editions to the game, I believe. So, as I said earlier, they have different innate like bonuses. So Outlaws he gets move noise reduction and move speed, a boost to that. He also has body armor, which is the big armor plate, a right and a left leg, small armor plate. Now, the difference between him and Shadow is he also has a big armor plate, but then he gets small armor plates for hands and legs. And then his move noise is reduced, and visibility is reduced, which I guess it makes it harder to be seen at distances or something. So you'll select, the sleeve, and then how that works is each sleeve you'll have up to 4 Chronogene slots that you can choose from, and these are also basically boosts to your character's certain attributes. Like this one gives you reduction to your damage that you take from bullets. You have a carrying capacity, endurance, examination, motor skills, which is your loading of like the magazines, reloading your gun, how fast you use heal items, I believe. And there's a bunch. Like there's a bunch that I don't even have unlocked yet. So this allows you to further customize your character, which is pretty cool. You also have your little armband ribbons that you can choose from, which is nice if you're trying to differentiate, between yourself and the enemy if you're playing with, actual friends or other team members. I've been playing solo pretty much, well, the entire time. Not pretty much, I have been playing solo the whole time, so I just keep it as dark as possible so it's harder for myself to be seen. Then, like I was saying before, you have your head armor slot, backpack, pouches, safe container. This body sleeve, like I said, has the large armor plate for the body, and then he also has hand and leg armor slots. You also have a signal grenade slot and a flashlight, so this where you can actually put a flashlight on to help you see in darker areas. As far as weapon slots, you have a main weapon, secondary weapon, side weapon, and melee weapon. So you can have up to 2 different guns equipped with a side arm, pistol, and then melee. So there's a bunch of different melee weapons. You always have a pocket knife, but then you can always equip an axe. You have shovel. You have, some things you can use just melee like screwdrivers. But you have war hammers. There's all kinds of different things that you can use as melee weapons, which is pretty cool. Everything is based off of load volume as far as how much you can actually carry on your character. So depending on the vest, like this rookie pouch has 150, but then I could also purchase, because I have it unlocked, tactical pouches, which gives you 250. Plus, if I take this off, no matter what, you'll always have 2 pockets available. As far as I know, I think you always have 2, no matter which body sleeve you go with. But then if you see this little square down on the bottom there, that represents an additional slot that it opens up for your pocket. So if I put that one on, I get a 3rd slot, and then if you look at the tactical pouches, it unlocks all 3. So it gives you more load volume. So like I said, this one is 150. So if I take that off, if you have no vest on, you have 100. If you put pouches on, that gives me an extra 150. and then this would give me another 150 on top of that, plus it unlocks all of the pouch equipment pockets. Backpacks, same thing. The better the backpack, the more additional volume you can carry. Obviously, if you don't have a backpack equipped, the only thing that you're able to do is load whatever you want into your vest. Safe containers. The safe containers, they are purchased using the crystallized active matter. So you get a certain amount of that based off of the edition of the game that you purchase, and then you can also basically get more from like the daily tasks and stuff like that, but they don't give you a whole lot. So I think maybe you can get like 50 a day, maybe more. It could be like 100, but you do get some of that from doing certain tasks. So my suggestion for that one would be probably use it to unlock your monolith stuff, which I'll get into that later. So yeah, back to the inventory side of it. So safe containers, the way they do it in this game too, it's a little bit unique because they're not persistent if you die. So what that means is that you can keep using them if you extract from raids, but if you die, how it works is anything that's in your safe container, you'll be getting it back into your inventory, but then it uses the safe container. So then you have to purchase another one. So you don't just always have a safe container that you can use. The other thing that they allow you to do with a safe container is based off of, you know, because they all sit, there's a small, medium, and I think large safe container. Yeah, small, medium, and large. So that's 50 volume, 100, 150. So no matter what the volume is, it will allow you, no matter what safe container it is, to put one item in there that overloads it, meaning that safe container might only technically be able to hold 50 volume, but you can throw something in there that's like 200 and something, because it allows you to do that with one item, which is really good because there are some items that take up a lot of volume, and being able to throw that into the safe container saves you some space for other things that you could loot. But that's a safe container side. On this screen, so like I said, you can change your ribbon color. This is just your dog tag. You can equip your Chronogenes from here. You can change your body sleeve. You can also see the breakdown as far as what bonuses you're getting right on just by hovering over the portrait. This tells you how much move speed you have right now. So right now I have 99%, and that's just because I have like the backpack and the pouches on. So the more stuff you equip, the slower you'll run, but you can actually get Chronogenes that allow you to run faster, so you can kind of, I think, offset that. And then you also have carrying capacity, which reduces the weight penalty. This button up here allows you to repair everything that you have equipped with one click. It'll tell you how much it costs. Click the button, it's done, so that's a nice quality of life thing. Equipment presets, so you can go in and you can set up, I think it's up to 5. I haven't actually done this yet, but you can set up different presets. Click it, it buys everything if you have access to it, or pulls it from your inventory. So that's a nice quality of life feature. Same thing under the weapons tab, you have a reload and refill all equipped items. So it'll pull it from whatever you have in your storage or in your backpack or vest. If there's nothing to pull from, you will have to purchase the ammo from the shop to be able to do that. This drop all content, that basically just allows you to empty out your backpack. Same thing with the load vest. So I haven't actually used this in this menu, but I'm assuming it would just drop everything into your storage. If you're in a raid, I'm assuming it just drops everything to the ground. And there is proximity loot in this, so you can hit tab and you can actually, it'll have a square right here that shows, you know, what you're currently looting, and then another section down here that shows what's in the proximity that you can loot. Alright, so, moving on. Missions. So this is the missions user interface here. So how it works is you'll have certain maps unlocked when you first start, and then as you go through and you level up your monolith, you will unlock access to more maps. And each map has a couple different variations. So like Shigolsko, yeah, I don't know. Some of the pronunciations on these are going to be messed up, but this one, we'll call it Sheg, has like its normal mode, which is this one, and then if you look, it has a distortion, and it also has an overgrowth. So depending on which rotation it's on, which you see this updates in 6 minutes, I think they go on 20-minute intervals, I believe. Just like objectives change every, I think, 24 hours. So they'll rotate around. But basically, if it's on an overgrowth map, that means you're gonna probably run into more like flower men and things of that nature. If it's in, say, distortion, you fight more of the, well, I'll tell you down here, like, you have distorted, you have hellhounds, you got mimics, you have invisibles, and the ball lightning. If you go to the overgrown, you have flowermen, dendroids, turned, invisible, gravity anomalies, and seeds. So the different versions of the maps will have different monsters that you can encounter. You also have this mode called darkness, which is basically like a night mode. So visibility, it's very dark, and you usually have like a thick fog. So they do have night vision and thermal in this game, so that's where it would be very beneficial to have one of those equipped, because the visibility is really bad on darkness maps. Unstable zone is basically, think of it as like a battle royale. So the zone will slowly start to move in, and you won't get to see the extract until, think of it as almost like close to the final push of the zone. So there's going to be, everyone that's left alive at that point is going to be pushing towards that one extract, because there is only one extract. So that's also a longer mode. So just be prepared if you're playing that you're going to be in the raid for probably, I think at least, depending on the map, but like headquarters on normal, I think has like a 45-minute limit. So it's going to be a pretty long time. I don't think it's the same length on unstable, but it is pretty long. And then, let me see, Silent Observer. I'm not really sure what the Silent Observer mode that's special about it. Other than maybe you fight more invisibles and statues on there. The other one, this escape mode for this map, is basically you're in an isolated raid, which means there's no other players, it's just you, and then you have to complete the objectives in order to extract from the map. And then obviously, if you don't extract because you don't complete the objectives, then you die. I haven't played Park, Epicenter, or Dam yet, so I can't comment on those, but I haven't unlocked those yet. But yeah, so they're all on rotation. So at any given time, you'll have, I think it's 5 different maps that you can choose from, and then every 20 minutes that rotates. So it kind of keeps it fresh to where it's, you know, you're not always able to choose the same, you know, raid to go into, and you know, you just pick your favorite one and you just do that one over and over and over, or whatever that looks like. It kind of forces you to play different maps, different modes, which I think it's a good idea, but some people may not like it. You also can see certain items that can be found on the maps, but like I said, it says and more, 294, so this just gives you like an overview of some of like the, I guess, more interesting things that you can find. It'll also tell you what the environment looks like currently. You'll always be able to see what monsters you can fight, the keys for the map, and then something else I want to cover while we're on this is you'll have these objectives that you can choose from, which you don't have to complete any of the ones to extract that just have the star. You can just choose to do them, but the ones that have the little red background with the stick figure, that means that you have to complete that task in order to extract. So if you choose any of those, it doesn't matter how many of these that you do, you have to do, if you have one of them selected, it's just the one. If you have both of these selected, then you have to complete both in order to extract. So all of the ones that require completion for extraction, if you have 3 of them, whatever it looks like, you'd have to do all of them in order to extract from the map. The only way that you can get around that is if you're playing in a team. If another teammate is able to open up an extraction, you will be able to extract with them at that extraction point. So that, as far as I know, the only way that you can get around the extraction requirement tasks is if you're playing in a team and they open up an extract for you. But these are all primary objectives that you can choose from here. Secondary objectives are listed down the bottom. Each one will tell you the rewards that you get for completing them. So you get monolith tokens and credits. Some of them will also give you equipment, weapons, healing items, consumable like grenades, stuff like that. And the last thing that I want to cover on the raid side is you'll see this little basically slider box here that says isolated raids. So you get a pass, I think it's yeah, it says passes are replenished daily as long as you have fewer than 15. So I was playing this yesterday, so it tells me that I get 1 pass in like basically 10 hours. So I don't know if they replenish you all the way up to 15 after a certain period of time, or if you just get 1 isolated raid pass every like 10 hours or 24 hours or whatever that looks like. But you can also use crystallized active matter to do isolated raids. But what that allows you to do is just like that escape mode for the one map, the Gorsk or whatever it is, you basically can load into pretty much the majority of these raids. Obviously this one's already isolated, so you can't use it. But the unstable zone ones, you can't obviously use isolated raids for it because it's more or less like it's supposed to be kind of like that battle royale last man standing. But this is a good way to get tasks done, to go in there and loot up a bunch of stuff, because you only have to worry about the AI, and that way you can get some of the, you know, your credits, your Monolith tokens. You can level up your Monolith a little bit easier. So that's kind of nice that they give you the option to do that. Last thing that I'll just cover real briefly is the Nexus battles. This is kind of like a team deathmatch, kind of like Battlefield-ish type mode. Didn't really get into this very much. Actually, I haven't gotten into it at all, because it's really not what I play these types of games for, but this is another thing that you can do if you're not looking at the raid side. So kind of the same thing that Delta Force and Arena Breakout Infinite do, where you have like the operation side, and then you have like the bigger scale battle side, like I said, kind of like Battlefield. But I haven't played any of it, don't know how it works, but it is there if that's what you're into. The shop, so the way it works is you don't just directly sell things in this game, but you directly buy things from the shop. As far as I know, it has nothing to do with the player. It's just set prices based on the developer. So you can buy things from here after you've unlocked them. Pretty self-explanatory. Weapons, weapon mods, ammunition, medicines, equipment. Like I said, you'll have certain things unlocked from the very beginning, but then everything else gets unlocked through the Monolith progression. Special is the one that I was talking about. You can use the crystallized active matter for. So like I said, you can buy the containers, small, medium, large. These beacons are something that you can put down in a raid, so that if you die, you can actually respawn to the beacon. You'll have none of your equipment, but you can respawn and try to go back over to your body and loot it. So it's kind of good if you're doing that like isolated raid and you get, you know, wiped out by a monster, and you can go back over and pick up your stuff. If you're playing in a raid that's not isolated, there's probably a good chance they're going to loot the vast majority of the stuff off of your body. But you can use it obviously if you want to, so you can purchase those. Or you can purchase 10,000 credits for 100. So you can purchase credits, but the only thing that you're really using credits for are to buy stuff from the shop. You can also favorite certain things, so that, you know, just like the other extraction shooters now, you can have a list of the things that you normally buy, and then that way you can just go to the screen and, you know, you've got it set up there already. Inventory, we pretty much covered everything on that. We'll get to the Monolith. So this Future Makers thing is basically like a leaderboard-esque type of deal here, but if you notice this 30,000, so from my understanding is that if you choose to do this like Monolith like sacrifice synchronization thing once you unlock the last one, and I think complete like the last part of that, you go up on this leaderboard, and what it is, I think it's like a self-wipe. So you actually wipe your account, but you get put on the leaderboard, and what happens is that once it gets to 30,000, it's like a server-wide wipe. So it's basically like a forced wipe once 30,000 people do this. So you can basically not wipe anything for yourself if you don't want to until it gets up to 30,000, and then you don't have a choice. From my understanding, it's going to wipe the entire server, so everyone starts from the beginning. So that's an interesting system and take on the whole wipe system. Some people probably think that's kind of cool. Other people probably hate it, especially the people who never really want to wipe their character, but it is what it is. That's what they decided to go with as far as my understanding of it. Anyway, Monolith, you have different access levels. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different access levels. And you have different requirements. This one was successful factory raids, Ozerno raids, and Shigolsko. And then obviously there is a, let's say, self-sacrifice. Yeah. So you do get, this is the self-sacrifice thing that I was talking about. So when you do self-sacrifice, you get certain permanent things like the storage extension, replicator module, the replicator Q slot. You get the different body sleeves unlocked. But anyway, you'll have different requirements that you have to do to unlock it. So if you notice, most of mine are actually already complete for the unlocks. The only thing that I'm missing is either unlocking it by getting enough monolith tokens or using crystallized matter. That's why I was saying earlier, if you look at the price, it's probably better for you to use your crystallized matter, but even so, once you get up into the higher levels, it's going to cost more. So it's kind of like, do whatever you want. If you're more concerned about using like the safe container item and stuff like that, then I would probably say use the monolith. If you don't really care so much about that, then I would say use the crystallized matter. But as you unlock these, you get to unlock, so it'll say shop unlocks, which this unlocks the weapon and the blueprint. So everything in here would unlock the item plus the blueprint. You can also unlock chronogenes from some of them and refiner recipes. And then you can also get your shelter upgrades, so like your storage expansion, where is it at? Replicator module. You have replicator Q slots, different recipes for bags and keys. So it's pretty simple. This is basically your progression system in the game, right? So moving on from that, we get to the replicator, which this is where I was talking about the blueprints. So as you use items in raid after you've unlocked the blueprint for that item, as I don't think it tracks the usage of it until it's actually unlocked. I could be wrong, but I think that's how it works. It won't really start tracking usage until the blueprint itself is unlocked. But as you use the items, you'll get the chrono traces that go towards the unlock passively, but as you break down items, you will also get chrono traces that you can put towards specific ones that you want to unlock. So that gives you a way to kind of target certain things. So let's say I wanted to unlock this faster, I could put 149 towards this, and, you know, pretty much have it almost unlocked. Which is a pretty cool system, because how it works is this doesn't cost you anything. You could literally sit here and replicate something over and over and over until you run out of, you know, space in your stash. And how it works is a replicated item can't be sold for any credits, so you can't just print money. And when you take it into a raid, even if somebody kills you and extracts with it, it's always labeled as a replicated item, so it will never have that enriched status, which basically allows you to break the things down to get credits and chrono traces and all that stuff. So there's no way that you can really exploit this to make money or anything like that. You have replicator Q slots, So like this thing is 5 seconds, so it goes pretty quick, but then you'll have other things like this is 5 minutes, that's 10 minutes, and then it gets up to like, I think 24 hours. Yeah, like that's 1 day. This is 8 hours, 8 hours, 1 day. I think 1 day is the longest queue time though. But basically, how that works is, let's say I want to make some of my regen stems. Click on it, hit the plus, hit the plus. So you can literally queue this stuff up, go into raid, come out, okay, cool, it's done. Same thing as you unlock more, you could literally be getting off for the night or waking up in the morning, getting ready to go to work, jump on, queue up a bunch of stuff, and it'll just keep going through that queue until everything's created. So, pretty cool system. It allows you to basically get items and gear and stuff and not have to pay any kind of credits. It only costs you time, basically. So that's pretty cool. And like I said, you can unlock the stuff as you go and you're using it as long as the blueprint is unlocked. So eventually you would just naturally unlock the blueprint for that item just by using the item, or you can get the chrono traces from breaking stuff down, put it towards it, unlock it faster. Next thing, refiner. So this is like your crafting. So there's different recipes and you'll unlock more recipes as you progress. But this is where you create your chronogenes. You unlock them through discovery by using the remains from the different monsters. And then you can also craft different things with specific items, or from any item you can get credits and chrono traces, meaning like these things that have the enriched tag, generally you're getting like, so this one, if I refine this M9 that's just a common with no enrichment tag, it's 173 credits. Or it costs 173 credits. Income from refining, it tells you it's 15. Now, if I go to, see if I had something, I don't have that same type, but, trying to see if I can give you an example of something compared to like enriched and not enriched. So this is an MP5. I don't think I even have. Yeah, so M4, M4A1. Okay, so M4 enriched and M4 not enriched. So this one, if I refine it, it gives me 945 credits. If I refine that one, it has a range of 780 to 1300. So there's a chance that I'm going to get less money, or I could get more money. So far for me, I think most of the times I've refined this stuff, it's always gone on the positive side, so that's how you're getting your credits. It's either from completing tasks or refining items. And then, like I said, you can also craft different bags, medicines, keys, there's different recipes as you go through the game and unlock those. But generally, enriched items are going to give you more value than just things that don't have the enriched tag. And basically, the enriched tag is anything that you find in a raid that has like spawned in that raid, not stuff that's been taken in by other players. Because anything that is enriched, it'll actually tell you when you take it into the raid that it's going to lose that enriched tag once you take it into the raid. There was one thing that I want to cover that I just thought of. When you're going to do this loadout check, so this lets you see what you have equipped before you deploy into the raid. But something else this game does that's really cool is you can do rent-a-gear. And it basically gives you, it's a different body sleeve, it doesn't have any chronogenes, but it gives you like a random body sleeve with a random loadout set. and it rotates. And it's not the same one every single time, but I guess they change certain presets or whatever from maybe the ones that they have set up for that day. But you can do this over and over and over and over again. So you literally do not have a limit on basically like scav runs, even though it's not really a scav run, it's still an actual like PMC, but you can literally run this all the time if you wanted to and never use your actual character. Will it be harder to complete a lot of the tasks and stuff because they require you to use certain like weapons and things like that? Yes. And then a lot of the times you're getting like rusty weapons and stuff, which are more prone to jamming. But you can technically run these and not really risk anything and just keep running them over and over and over again. So I did forget to cover that part, so I want to just hit that really quick because that is obviously a very cool feature of the game. And then obviously this is, if I exit out of this, this is your shelter, so basically like your hideout that you can actually like run around in, and you have your replicator, your console for the market, you know, you got your storage, basically everything that's in the menus you have that you can actually run around and take a look at. These are the different body sleeves right here, they got them sitting in containers. Your refiner. Yeah, that's basically the breakdown and overview of active matter. As far as my personal thoughts go, I've been having a lot of fun with the game still. The progression keeps you pretty entertained, as far as always having something to look forward to that you're trying to accomplish. And it's not something, I mean, you could probably power through it if you wanted to, but with the requirements for some like the monolith tokens and that, I think it's still it would take the average person a decent amount of time, even if this was the only game that you were playing, to get through all of these access levels. The game did have some bugs that they're still working on. They may have fixed some of them by now. They just put out another update today, I think, but there was some one bug that if you got kicked out of the game while you were loading in and you had one of those, it was like the high priority cargo task, you would have the item in front of you to use for the task, but it wouldn't mark the location of where it had to be placed, so it was basically like a dead raid because you would never be able to extract. So that one does kind of suck. I think they've fixed it at this point, at least I hope they have. There is a reconnect option if you get kicked out going into a raid, but you actually have to exit all the way out of the game and log back in, because it has something to do in most cases with losing connection to BattlEye. So once you load back into the game, it will show you that reconnect option and you can load back into that same raid. The AI movement and things like that can be kind of wonky, but that also kind of makes them hard because their movement can be unpredictable, so they're harder to like shoot, so that's a good and a bad thing, I guess. And then obviously there's some audio stuff where sometimes things behind you were like you couldn't hear, or like footsteps were pretty quiet and stuff like that, but they're continuing to tweak. They actually had that in their update today, is that they made more sound improvements and fixed a lot of crashing and bug related issues, so that's they seem to be putting out regular updates usually every few days, especially if it's something that's like really affecting the game. The standard edition is available, I think, for like $30 USD. But you do have to purchase it through their website. This game is coming to Steam sometime next year, I believe is what they said, but right now, in order to play, you have to purchase through their website, use their launcher, and the cheapest version is the $30 version. Do I think it's worth the $30? I've got, like I said, at least 40, probably around 40, if not more hours in the game now, I think. So I definitely think I got my $30 worth because I only bought the standard edition. If you are a fan of like the Stalker games or Stalker-like games, and you also like extraction shooters, then I would say yes, for sure, pick up this game. If not, then you may not want to jump on this one. You may want to give it some time, especially with Arc Raiders coming out end of October, which, you know, everyone's looking forward to that, and I will be playing that as my main game when that comes out, unless it completely bombs, which I don't think it will, hopefully. But in the meantime, I was playing a lot of Arena Breakout Infinite, and then I found out about this, and as soon as I started playing it, I pretty much switched over to this, at least for the time being. I will tell you that it is a more fun experience, at least in my opinion, if you're playing with friends or using, you know, the find. They have like a find squad for the maps, for the raids, because you do have like the recovery mechanic to pick up like down teammates and stuff like that, or to get them basically like zoned back into the raid. If you're playing solo, if you die, obviously you're dead unless you have a beacon, and then, you know, that beacon, you come back and you have nothing on you, so good luck. So solo is a little bit rough. I have been only playing solo, but I'm still having fun, and you do have the isolated raid option, which makes it a little bit easier. But overall, I would recommend the game, because I do like the extraction shooter genre, and I do like the Stalker games, so this is kind of like right up my alley. And the game runs really well, and other than that getting kicked from the raid in the initial loading sometimes, I really haven't found any major like game breaking issues. So for being in early access, it's actually a pretty smooth game. But I'm going to continue to put out some videos of some tips and tricks and things like that for the different monsters, how to fight them, weaknesses, you know, things like that. But this, I just wanted to give an overall idea of how the game flows, you know, how the systems work and all of that. And with that being said, I'm going... Alright, since the video was about 45 minutes long, I figured I would do some gameplay footage and go over some things from the actual in-game perspective. So right now I'm doing an isolated raid, which means I am the only player on the map. This is all AI. The reason I'm doing that is so I don't have to worry about, you know, loading in and then dying within 2 or 3 minutes while trying to explain stuff. So first thing, when you load in, I do have the high priority cargo mission, so it spawned it right in front of me. Picked that up, and it also listed all of the current objectives that I have on the map on the left hand side. So if I hit M, it'll also bring up the objectives. If I hold Alt, it'll actually let you interact with the map. So you'll see this border around here. That means I can mark things on the map, I can remove markers, I can hit K, which will scan around me to give some immediate information about things that are around me that might be related to like the missions and stuff that I have. So right now there is that was a turned soldier, so they're like the AI soldiers. I actually have a mission too with a semi-auto or a handgun. So that guy kind of interrupted what I was doing. Basically, they have weapons. You can loot them. Like he has a SMG that I'll take. I'll take his remains, and he's got a shovel. We'll take that. I'll take some extra ammo. Basically, with the map, it'll show your objectives. They're numbered, different colors, makes it easy to read. The high priority mission, like I said, has the red around it, meaning I have to complete that in order to extract. Same with I have to find enriched electronics. So I have to find that item in a raid, and that will also open up my extract. But I have to do both of these. Everything else, they are, you know, if I want to complete them, I can. If not, I can just do those priority ones and get out. The high priority mission is marked by the backpack, and it tells you that it has to go in a cupboard. And that specific cupboard will actually have like an orangish border around it, so it tells you that that's the specific cupboard that it has to go in. You can see down the bottom of the map, with this being, with Alt being held down, that you can recenter yourself by hitting space. You can reset the map position with left control and space, just like that. You can hit X for player following, for on and off. Let me just reset this again. And then you can scan the points. So right now you hear gunfire. That basically means that the AI turned soldiers are fighting monsters. I have 27 minutes roughly left on the raid. So with that being said, some things that you can do, obviously you can shift to hold breath, which will also kind of zoom in to allow you to kind of get a better shot. You can lean, so you got your standard lean. You can check your magazine by holding R, and it'll tell you how many rounds you have, the firing mode it's on, and the round that's in the chamber. So, obviously your extracts are marked, which the ones that are on the countdown, that just means it's going to rotate to a new position after that time limit drops down. This one is always at that location, so that's a permanent extract. And eventually, once I'm on the map for so long, there's also drops that come in by little space-looking pods that usually have, like, better loot and stuff in them. But these little question marks are abnormal signals that are usually, like, points of interest. These markings are just, like, you know, the different numberings for the buildings so that you can differentiate between the buildings, and some of them have keys. That's the swarm. So basically that monster will come around when there's bodies, and they basically devour the body, which you can still loot them, but it'll look like they're almost like kind of charred. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go up and try to do this first part of my mission, or one of my subtasks, which is the deep study. Don't do that, I'm gonna break my legs. But there's a lot of things you can loot, like you can loot the vehicles. The trunks usually have like, sometimes like weapons and stuff in them. These vehicles obviously usually have like first aid type stuff. You can also like loot the insides of the cars. So something killed a turned soldier here. Okay, apparently I can't aim. So you can use this like regeneration injector that heals you over time. So when that space like airdrop landing thing is coming in, it'll actually give you a vicinity of where it's going to drop, but you'll actually see it coming in right there. And then it'll have like red smoke once it lands on the ground, but that red smoke goes away after a while, even if somebody doesn't loot it. This guy also had a Keter. There's different levels of remains that can be left too, which unlocks different chronogenes. To reload, basically you're going to take the ammo, which drop it in, reload the magazine. You can reload the magazine that's in your current weapon, but what'll happen is it pulls the magazine out and you start loading the rounds in. So so I don't get, like, eaten alive by these things. See, follow the signals was one of my objectives, so I got that done. We're gonna go over here and check out this drop, but this is usually an area where there's a lot of, like, turned patrolling, so I kind of have to be careful because those guys are actually kind of deadly if you're, yep, if you just run up on them. That's a distorted that's on me, so we're gonna melee this guy real quick. I do need to kill these guys with handguns, so there's another one coming this way. Oh shit. Why is that guy so angry at me? Reload the gun. Oh, wrong ammo. Reload the gun. Funny thing is, I didn't even equip armor for this raid. I don't know why it didn't give me the kill for that guy. Maybe the distorted killed him. Anyway, on to the next part. I want to try to show you as many of the different creatures and stuff too. So yeah, medium backpack, ampules, and an M4. So I'm gonna swap this out since I got the Keter there already. I'm gonna put the magazine in, take the rounds. I'm gonna get rid of that, empty magazine. We're gonna take those as well. Alright, so deep study of a sword. I have to shoot these guys and kill them with a handgun. So I want to make sure that this is loaded. I'm going to load the other magazine as well. And you can move around and loot while you're loading or reloading. But there should be distorted in here according to this. If I had a flashlight, I'd be able to. But they'll be in like this sleeping state in most cases, so you can easily like walk up and like one tap them in the head. If you walk up to them or like slow, like crouch walk up to them, you generally won't disturb them. But there's usually groups of them. I think there's a soldier walking around here somewhere. I think he's in the back. You also have different levels of item rarity, so you have like common, uncommon, rare, and like the epic or whatever that's purple. But like this right here, you go through, it teleported me to a whole different part of the map. So I'm over here now. And you can see that I am on top of this building, so if I fall out of this, I am dead. So that's one that you can come across. I'm trying to see if maybe I can show you, but this is like uncommon, this is rare, and then like I said, there's another one that's purple. But once I go through this, so if you watch, I'm teleported back over here. There was another thing that I wanted to show you real quick that's pretty cool too, that you'll kind of go through this. This is a flowerman, I'll show you. So these things, there we go. These are annoying. They're pretty sporadic in their movement, but they basically charge at you in like a straight line, and then they go out and they'll come back. the easiest way to kill them is generally with the flamethrower or incendiary, but now we got a whole bunch more coming at us because we made a bunch of noise. They will jump up and try to kill you on top of things. Headshots do matter. So, if you can shoot things in the head, it's better to shoot things in the head. We'll reload this guy real quick. So far, you've seen the Swarm, the Flowermen, Distorted, Turned Soldiers. I'm gonna do a little heal action here. So if you hit T, that's basically like a quick heal. It will heal the most damaged body part first. All of the healing heals for the same amount. It's just the containers hold different amounts of the ampules, which allows you to not weigh as much or use as much volume. So that's what makes the containers better. It's not how much they heal, it's just, or how fast they heal, it's just how many you can carry. And then you have like the regen stems and stuff like that, so there's a couple different healing items. You do have grenades in the game, which I'll show that off here in a second, but this is what I wanted to share with this, is that if you see this anomaly, it warps reality, or not reality, but the gravity, so you can actually run up walls. You won't fall off unless you like go off of this anomaly. Basically allows you to get onto like rooftops and all that stuff. So pretty cool. And then you just jump back up and you think you're going to fall, but you actually don't. So it's kind of crazy. Kind of weird the first time you do it. You're kind of wondering if you're just going to like fall to your death. Now there should be more Distorted in here. Oh, this is invisible. Where's he at? He's right here. So they look like electricity. They're invisible. They kind of like roam around, but when they're about to attack, is this one glitched out? Oh shit. Let's get out of here for a second because this is going to end badly for us. These things you can pretty much dodge, but I gotta be careful here. I might die because I'm stuck on this stupid thing. I need to... So... just because I'm trying to not die while doing this. How much time do I have left? 14 minutes. Alright, so I'm gonna reload the pistols. I'm trying to get the pistol kills for the Distorted for the mission, but if I don't end up doing it, not a big deal. I'll throw that in here. Active matter, you can collect active matter, and what that does is you can hold up to 100, and each one is basically 100 credits. So if you get 100, you get 10,000 credits when you extract off the map. Alright. I still have to find some electronics, so let's go and do that. So that was the invisible that was the thing that I fought in there and killed with the shovel, but they're pretty easy to kill, and honestly the Distorted are fairly easy to kill. It's just, it's a little rough when they're in packs. And then probably the Flowermen are the most annoying to kill, just because they take a pretty good punch unless you're hitting them in the head or you're using fire. That ball is like another anomaly, so it kind of patrols. And what happens is if it hits you, it explodes. And it does a lot of damage. There's a... What is this dude shooting at? So he actually had... I do want the M4 though, actually. What do I have to do with the submachine gun? Semi-auto. So that is the semi-auto. Anyway, I need to find some enriched electronics, which this is a burned out building, so it's not gonna happen. Shit. I gotta fucking reload my shit here. Can I switch this around? That's uncommon. It's not enriched. Just get rid of it. But I want to swap that so I can get these kills. Before I get too sidetracked, let me go actually do this high priority and put that thing in the yeah, we don't want to get hit by that either, because that'll probably murder us in one shot since we're already weak. I'll go over here. Some more distorted or invisible running around there. One. It's another one of those little gravity anomalies there. So the other thing is too, when you see like the flower stuff, right? What you don't want to do is you don't want to hit these things, because if you hit those, it's going to basically alert these guys, and they're gonna start coming at you in mass like that, which really isn't what you want to deal with, because they're a pain in the ass. I'm gonna throw the grenade down there. I think that kind of just backfired because it didn't kill anything. 0. I don't know how many rounds I have left in this thing, but... that was it. Come here. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna hope and pray that we cleared out all of those. Now, there's one more. There's always one more. This thing empty. 6 of... Come on. Come on. Bro, you are a pain in the ass. Alright, we did it. We're still alive. There's a cupboard in here. Where's the cupboard that I need? That's a sideboard. There we go. We got the electronics. Perfect. Where is the cupboard? Is it upstairs? So it'll tell you. Altitude, yeah, it says like 3 meters. Meaning the cupboard that I need is this one. Somewhere up here, I believe. Should be. Alright. We're on the same level. Oh, this is the freaky kid room. It's this cupboard because it has the thing around it. So we got that in there. Mission complete. Alright. I don't think this will kill us. Jumping from the... you know what? We're just gonna go out. Going out this way. Alright. So since we're in pretty bad shape and I don't have any more ammo or healing, and we're almost out of time for the raid, I'll go over and show the extracts. So usually the extracts are also guarded by monsters. Sometimes it's Flowerman, sometimes it's invisible, sometimes it's distorted. If it's distorted, we should be able to sneak up on them. This one may just be open. No, it's Flowerman. There's one Flowerman. So you go up to it. It's this looking thing right here. You hit the extract, and then we run around because I don't want to get killed by this guy. So we're just going to dance around a circle. Hopefully that's good enough, and he doesn't schmack us. And you just stay within range until the extract, and then once it finishes, you extract out, and you're done. Like I said, that was an isolated raid, so didn't have to worry about other players, but it'll tell you the distance traveled, max height you went up, abnormal signals that you investigated, containers looted, bodies looted, secret stashes found, anomalies killed, damage dealt, damage taken, medicines used. And this kind of gives you the rundown of the different things that you did during the entire raid, your start points, the path that you took, and your endpoints. Spoils, they'll tell you I gained that much experience, I evacuated these items out, I've got daily rewards for killing these things. It says operatives killed, but I didn't really kill. I guess certain turned are considered operatives, and then there's just regular turn soldiers, so like I said, it was an isolated raid, so there wasn't any other operatives in there with me, so I got out 25 active matter, which translates over to 2,500 credits. For doing these daily rewards, I got 50 monolith tokens. It tells you a successful raid, time and raid. So then up at the top here, you'll see missions. Missions completed. Obviously, this is rotated to a different raid now, but I can go here, report all contracts. I've got 350 more monolith tokens, 3,250 more credits. They gave me one of like the starter armor plates and a frag grenade. And then my replicator items were done while I was in there, so claim those. But yeah, I just wanted to put some gameplay footage and run through like a very basic raid so you have an idea of what that looks like. Other than that, appreciate you guys hanging out for this part, and hopefully you enjoyed the entire, I would say, a little over an hour video now. But until the next time, peace and love, deuces.